Hey everybody, this is Perch. I recently put out the video kind of going through Jack Kirby's history, which is a blast, by the way, and I don't know that it came across in a little 10-minute video, but if you get a chance and you're interested in comics and you want some kind of real-life history in your comics, looking into Jack Kirby's past is pretty incredible. It's just, it's an amazing kind of walkthrough of what he did, and also, and this is my own little geekiness, I admit, the idea that you could take art skill and you think about a guy like Kirby who did new worlds and gods and universes and that Kirby crackle and everything that he did, and that same hand that drew that stuff were drawing maps of enemy locations deep within kind of territory where you'd be shot on sight. It's an incredible bit of history. I have thought for a long time that they could do a movie, kind of one of those fictionalized documentary a bit of the life of Jack Kirby, this guy who was drawing Captain America and then flung into the war himself. And just everything that went on there. Pretty incredible stuff. But while I was doing that and kind of grabbing a couple of details, I was reminded of a wholly different Captain America controversy that had come up. And this was one of those, you ever have those things where you don't like something, but the reasons why it gets attacked you feel are unfair. So you find yourself defending something you really don't care for. Well, this was definitely the case for me when it came to Secret Empire. I didn't like that storyline, and I didn't like the Captain America is Hydra storyline. I felt like it was needlessly kind of shock value. And my core issue with it, and I know many of you have heard this before, was simply that we'd had a long string of Captain America. First, Brubaker wrote him, and he was kind of this. A little disillusioned, Bucky's coming back and Captain America's trying to figure out his place, and then he's killed, but he's not really dead, and then he kind of has to make his way back to life, and then he does come back to life, and then Rick Remender takes over the title, and he goes into Dimension Z, and he's aged up he's lived 10 years, 15, 20 years over there in this dimension, which passed a different time here. So he's once again feels like a man kind of out of time because he's had this extra life. And then he's aged and he's turned into an old man. And, Sam Wilson takes over Captain America. But before that's even had a chance to settle in, he's de-aged and he's back to his original self. But now he's Hydra secretly in this, and just kind of, this all just kept going on. And to me, the reveal that, now he's Hydra and we don't have the Cap back that you thought you had back after all this kind of back and forth of he's alive, if he's disillusioned, but now he's dead, but now he's in another dimension, but now he's old, now he's gone again, now he's Hydra. It just I was not in the mood for it. I wanted to get just a classic great Captain America adventure. Like when Joe and I talked about the Bloodstone Hunt, Captain America is an amazing character for going out and having cool adventures. You can write Captain America like he's Indiana Jones, and it's pretty good stuff. You wouldn't think that based on kind of Cap's personality, but Grunwald had amazing Indiana Jones-like adventures with Cap, and they were great. And so I was greedy for more. If you put it this way, there have been far more comics of Captain America in the last 25 years of him either being dead, old, disillusioned, or Hydra than just Captain America having good adventures. For that matter, the Mark Waid run of Captain America with Jason Aaron, I think right in the late 90s, was great. Like there were some great Captain America comics in there, and I want back to that. It dawns on me that, and I liked Brubaker's run okay. I didn't have any major problems with it. I do think it's one of those things that I think has aged better in the sense of our memories of it are maybe a little bit better than the actual comic. It's still good, but it is a lot of kind of Captain America staring out a window and the Red Skull staring out a window, and it was a different Captain America we've gotten before, and that was good. But now, as many people have come in and kind of copied that Captain America, it's watered it down for me at least. So to me, the Captain America that I have to go back to get a good kind of adventure Captain America is literally that Mark Waid run in the late 90s. That's where we're at. So at any rate, Um, I didn't like Secret Empire. It's a long-winded way of saying I didn't like it, but I wanted to explain why. But other people didn't like it for a very different reason. So Secret Empire is going on, and then, completely by accident. So if you just look at the timing of when Secret Empire started rolling, when Captain America was revealed to be Hydra, this happened pre-Trump. So Trump becoming president was something that kind of happened in the midst of all this, and definitely people made the analogy of Trump is. Comic fans did, but if you read the comic, none of this felt like Trump. I know some people like to make that comparison, but the Secret Empire, there was no, I don't know. I didn't see the Trump the analogy with Secret Empire, and that wasn't the reason why I disliked it. It had nothing to do with any of that. But that wasn't the case for others. And in particular, Nick Spencer, in January 20th, 2017, okay, he writes, today is difficult, but cheering violence against speech, even of the most detestable, disgusting variety, is not a look that will age well. And what he meant by that, of course, was that people were calling, as Trump was getting inaugurated, they were calling for violence against him and against people who were his supporters. And they were, this was when we were really starting to get heavy into that. You can run out there and punch a Nazi, and the Nazis were Trump people. If Trump people equal Nazis, so you could go punch them. Let's go punch those people, is what several were saying. And Nick Spencer makes this comment, which I'm sure kind of in his mind was a extremely benign comment, because listen to what he's saying. He's basically saying what kind of any superhero would say, any kind of rational person would say, and that you don't whip people into a frenzied mob. You don't encourage people to go react violently to speech. That's dangerous. That freedom of speech is a thing that protects us all. And typically, because again, if you're old, if you lived through the 90s, you remember a lot of left-wing advocacy against censorship. A lot of censorship was coming from the right wing and around music and other things. The whole Tipper Gore and kind of what she was doing, that used to be the thing. It was easier, I think, back in the 90s to go, hey, the freedom of speech is important, and generally speaking, people didn't argue with that. I've mentioned this in a video too. I recall, I got my 2 Live Crew tapes, and they had their, they had a great album. Then they had their second one, which was the Banned in the USA, which is the takeoff of Born in the USA and everything else. And that was about censorship, fighting censorship. And so this idea that suddenly, somebody claiming to say, hey, threatening somebody with violence over their words is sick. I don't think that's a hot take. But in 2017, that was a hot take. And Nick Spencer, people just piled on him. And in many cases, they tied him saying he was trying to defend a guy named Richard Spencer, who was I think, self-proclaimed white supremacist. And they were basically saying that Nick Spencer was basically, that Nick Spencer was on Richard Spencer's side, which was a very, very bizarre. You really had to be a particular sort of crazy to make that connection on all fronts. But anyway, it stuck. And even with the Substack stuff lately, I see people bringing that up again. It's like, well, Nick Spencer is a friend of Richard Spencer. It's like, just because they have the same last name does not mean they are the same or remotely the same. And it takes just any kind of casual look over the two of them to make that clear. Now, interestingly enough, we go to a 1982 issue of the comic by DeMatteis and Mike Zeck of Captain America. And I like this. This is a good comic. This was, what was the main story? Captain America was, I don't know. He was up to something. I don't remember the context of this. But Captain America basically, he defends in this comic a kind of Nazi sympathizer. He defends his right to free speech, to public speech, after he's attacked by a Jewish character. And in this, which I think is well written in 2 panels, Cap turns to the Jewish guy who was threatening the violence and said, "Can't you see that in stooping to your enemy's level, you're being made over in his image, that you're becoming the very thing you loathe?" Which sounds like a very Captain America hero thing to say, right? You say, don't turn to the dark side. Don't stoop to their level. Like, how many times have you heard that as a kid? And then Captain America turns to the Nazi and says, "Is you. In your fear and ignorance, you deny reality, rewrite history. I wish I could take you back with me to the day we liberated Eisenwald. Let you smell the stomach-turning stench of death. Let you see the mountains of corpses left behind by the corrupt madmen and murderers you idolize," saying your basically your Nazi cosplay is sickening because you don't even know what you remember, what you don't even know what you're idolizing. You're idolizing something disgusting. So anyway, this generated a pretty large amount of reactions and angry people saying that Captain America would absolutely punch Nazis. Are you a Nazi? I mean, just a lot of really gross stuff that was thrown Nick Spencer's way. And again, it makes me, it's one of those sad things because I didn't like Secret Empire, but I didn't like the reasons people dogpiled Nick Spencer. I thought that was extremely unfair. So anyway, for what it's worth, Captain America is and of course he has to be the hero between these two things. I think Cap is best when he's heroic. He's best when he's serving an ideal. He's best when he's trying to inspire. And to me, at least, I think arguing for free speech, arguing for people not to sink down into the depths of the people they fight, that's a good ideal and worth fighting for what it's worth. Anyway, an interesting bit of history. Again, I just came across this, and it was interesting to see how all this went down, and kind of remember how how the world has altered in 4 years. And it's sad to me, kind of re-looking at some of this stuff, to see a lot of the people who just angrily went off on some of these people. I mean, just angrily hated Nick Spencer for kind of daring to say, "Hey, we can't threaten people with violence for their speech," when the characters writing Captain America have been saying that, close to 40 years ago. Yeah, something to think about. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, your questions in the comments below, and thanks for listening.